How did one careless joke in a loud restaurant end with a folder handed to me in public at the school pickup line? Why did my husband stay calm, say almost nothing, and still make my whole life change in one morning? My name is Roxana Merivale, and I used to think I was a strong woman with strong needs. I worked as a dental office manager, and I liked order, clean lines, and clear results. I told myself I was the one who kept our life running. I said I carried the schedule, the bills, the children's shoes, the school forms, and the smiles for other people. I also told myself that a woman like me deserved more than quiet. Ethan was my husband. He was 36. He worked in IT security, and he acted like a person who could live inside numbers and rules. He was not loud, he was not dramatic. He did not chase me around the kitchen with jokes. He did not fight back when I pushed. Sometimes I wanted him to break, because then I could point at it and say he was the problem. That morning, I stood in our kitchen and watched him make oatmeal for the kids. Harper sat at the table and colored. Miles tapped his spoon on the bowl and looked at Ethan's face like it was a safe place. I noticed small things, like I always did. Ethan put 2 mugs on the counter, but he did not put them together. He left space between them. He moved like he had learned to stay careful. He asked if I could pick up milk after work. I said I was busy and he could do it. He asked if we could talk later about the weekend plans. I said there was nothing to talk about because he never planned anything anyway. I knew my tone was sharp. I told myself I was just being honest. Ethan looked at me for a second, like he wanted to say something. Then he looked away and wiped a clean counter that did not need wiping. That silence made me angry. I wanted him to defend himself, to argue, to prove he cared. Instead, he acted like the air was fragile. I told myself he was doing it to punish me. I said in my head that he liked making me feel alone. I still think I was right in that moment, even though I can see now how twisted it was. I walked past his small desk in the corner of the living room, and I saw a folder on it. The tab said, Utilities. It was neat, like a school file. Next to it, I saw his phone screen light up for a second. A reminder flashed before he turned it down. It said, Paper drop 9:10 p.m. I did not know what that meant. I felt my stomach tighten, not from fear, but from irritation. I did not like secrets in my house unless the secret was mine. I asked what that reminder was. He said it was for something personal. I asked why he needed a folder for utilities when I already handled bills. He said it was just organizing. His voice stayed calm. That calm felt like a challenge. At the dental clinic, I acted like I was fine. I put on my work smile. I checked the appointment list. I reminded the hygienist to log her supplies. I told the front desk to confirm 2 late cancellations. My job made me feel powerful because people listened to me there. In the break room, I sat with my phone and my coffee. My best friend Cass texted me a meme about settling in marriage. Cass liked to laugh at other people's relationships, like it was a sport. I liked that energy when I felt small at home. Cass asked how things were with Ethan. I said he was being weird again. I said he acted like a victim when I tried to talk. I said he made me feel like the bad guy for wanting normal affection. I did not say anything about what I had already started doing behind his back. I told myself that part did not count yet, because I was almost leaving in my mind. Nina, a woman from my wider friend circle, walked in to use the microwave. She asked how my kids were. I said they were fine and Ethan was doing his silent thing. Nina asked what I meant. I said he always got moody and then tried to make me chase him. Nina looked at me like she wanted to say something careful. She asked if Ethan had been stressed at work. I said he was always stressed, and that was his choice. I went back to my desk and checked messages. There was one from Mason Keller. He was a sales rep who came by the clinic sometimes. He knew how to look at me, like I was the main person in the room. He asked if I was okay after my rough week. I told him I was tired of being ignored. I told myself it was harmless to talk. I said in my head that Ethan had pushed me to this by not being enough. That afternoon, I drove home with groceries and a tight smile. The house looked normal from the street. The porch light was off. The car in the driveway sat straight. Everything was quiet. Quiet should have meant peace, but for me it felt like losing. Inside, Ethan helped Harper with a worksheet at the table. Miles lined up toy cars. Ethan did not ask where I had been. He did not ask to see my phone. He did not accuse me. That should have made me feel safe, but instead it made me feel unseen. I told myself a husband should notice when his wife was slipping away. I started talking anyway. I told him the clinic was stressful. I told him I felt like I did everything. I said he never made me feel wanted. I said he was more married to his screen than to me. I watched his face for a crack. He asked what I wanted him to do. I said he should already know. He asked if we could set a time to talk when the kids were asleep. I said he always wanted schedules because he had no feelings. I could hear myself, but I kept going because backing down felt like losing. Later, when the kids were in bed, I walked past his desk again. That same utilities folder was there. A faint smell, like printer toner, floated in the air, like something had been used and put away. Ethan was in the hallway near the guest room. I heard a soft click, like a drawer being locked. I asked what he was doing. He said he was putting things away. I asked why he locked a drawer in our house. He said it was just private paperwork. I told him that married people should not have private paperwork. He looked at me, not angry, not scared, just tired. He asked if I wanted to talk calmly. I said he was the one who made everything cold. I went to our bedroom and scrolled my phone under the blanket light. Cass was sending voice notes, pushing me to stop settling. Mason's name sat on my screen like a match near dry paper. I told myself I deserved to feel alive. I told myself Ethan did not give me what a real husband should give. In the other room, I heard Ethan's phone buzz once, then go silent. I thought about that reminder again. Paper drop 9:10 p.m. And I felt a sharp, stubborn anger. I did not know it yet, but that was the first time I sensed he was moving without me, and I hated it. The next evening, I got ready, like it was a small battle. I put on a dress that looked serious but also loud in a quiet way. I told myself I was not trying to impress anyone. I said I just wanted to feel like myself again. I watched Ethan from the bathroom mirror while I fixed my hair. He stood by the doorway with the kids' backpacks in his hands, even though the kids were not going anywhere. He always held something when he did not want to show his face. He asked where I was going. I said I was meeting friends for one drink. He asked if I wanted him to come. I said no, because he would sit there and make it awkward. He asked if we could have dinner as a family first. I said I was late already, and he could handle it for once. I hated how easy it was to say that. I also liked how it made me feel in control. On the way out, I noticed his keys. There was a new key on the ring. It was not the house key. It was a smaller one, like a drawer key or a small lock. I asked what it was for. He said it was for something personal. He said it the same way he had said it before, calm and flat, like he was reading a line he had practiced. I drove to the rooftop bar downtown. The parking was tight, and the air smelled like warm concrete. I liked places like that because nobody asked deep questions. The music did the work. I walked in and saw Cass already at a high table near the edge. She waved like she owned the place. Nina was there too, and two other women from our circle. People were taking pictures with the city lights behind them. Cass asked if Ethan finally learned how to act like a husband. I said he was still doing his cold routine. Cass asked if I was still settling. I said I was trying, but he did not meet my real needs. I made my face serious on purpose, like I was speaking a hard truth. I liked how the table leaned toward me. Nina asked what I meant by needs. I said I meant being wanted, being seen, being treated like a woman, not like a roommate. I said some men were not man enough for that. I did not say it softly. I said it like a punch wrapped in a smile. Cass laughed too loud. And the others did that half-laugh people do when they want to join but also want to look innocent. I knew it was harsh. I told myself it was just words. I told myself Ethan needed to hear how it felt to be ignored. I also liked the way my friends looked at me like I was brave. In that moment, I wanted an audience more than I wanted a marriage. My phone buzzed on the table and I flipped it face down fast. Cass noticed anyway and asked who was texting me. I said it was work. Nina's eyes stayed on my hand for one extra second, like she did not believe me. I smiled at her like she was the one being rude. Cass started taking photos. She told me to lean closer to the lights. She told me to hold my glass higher. She posted a picture and tagged me before I even saw it. She asked if she should tag Ethan too. As a joke, I said she could if she wanted, because he needed to learn. I made it sound like I was teaching him. I was really trying to embarrass him into changing. A little later, Ethan texted. He asked if I could come home earlier because Miles was fussy. I told him I was busy and he always acted helpless. He asked if I could at least answer one call. I said he should stop controlling me. I felt proud when I typed it. I felt like I had finally named him as the villain. Cass asked what he wanted. I said he was trying to guilt me again. Cass shook her head and said, I deserved better. She said a real man would not beg. She said a real man would know how to keep his wife happy. I nodded like she was telling me a fact, not selling me a story. Then Ethan showed up. I did not expect it, but I also did not hate it. Part of me wanted him there, so I could show everyone what I dealt with. He walked in with no drama, like he had just come to pick up a package. He did not look angry. He looked tired. He asked if we could talk outside for a minute. I said we could talk right there because I had nothing to hide. He looked at Cass and the others and asked if this was a good time. I said it was fine, and he was the one who made things weird. He asked if I'd been drinking. I said one drink was not a crime. He asked if I could come home soon because the kids were asking for me. I said the kids were fine, and he always made them anxious. Nina stepped back like she wanted space. Cass leaned in like she wanted a show. One of the other women lifted her phone like she might record, then lowered it again when Ethan did not raise his voice. Ethan asked if we could not do this in front of people. I said he was embarrassed because the truth was out. I said he should stop acting like a victim. I watched his face for anger. I wanted it, I needed it, because anger would prove I was right. He did not give it to me. He said he was going home and he would put the kids to bed. He asked if I needed a ride. I said I was not his child. He nodded once, like he accepted that I would twist anything he offered. Then he turned and walked away. Cass laughed and said he ran like always. She said he was weak. I felt heat rise in my chest, but it was not victory. It was panic, small and sharp. He did not fight for me. He did not try to pull me back. It felt like he had stepped out of my game. I checked my phone again. I saw a missed call with no caller ID. Then I saw another missed call from Ethan, and I did not answer. I told myself he wanted to control me. I told myself I was showing him boundaries. It was funny how I could say that word while breaking every real boundary. When the rooftop bar started to thin out, I said I needed air. Cass offered to come with me. I said I was fine. I walked down to the parking garage alone. The concrete felt colder than before. My footsteps sounded too loud. I got to my car and sat without starting it. I scrolled again and saw that Cass had posted more photos. The caption made it sound like I was finally free. People were liking it. One person commented with a laughing emoji and Ethan's name. My stomach tightened again, but I forced myself to enjoy it. Then I noticed something else. Ethan had shared nothing. No angry post, no call-out, no message to defend himself. It was like he did not want the public stage. A new message came in from Mason. He asked if I was okay and said I deserved to feel wanted. I read it twice. I told myself it was just comfort. I told myself it did not mean anything yet. My hand shook a little anyway, not from guilt, but from the feeling that my life was splitting into two tracks. When I drove home, Ethan's car was already in the driveway, pointed toward the street instead of toward the garage door. That small detail felt wrong, like a suitcase left in the hall. I walked inside and found the kitchen clean. The lights were dim. The house was quiet, too quiet for a home with 2 kids. Ethan was at his desk. I saw a spreadsheet open on his screen, but I could not read the title. He clicked away from it the moment I stepped closer. I asked what he was doing. He said he was organizing some personal things. I asked why he needed to organize at night. He said he preferred to be prepared. On the fridge, I noticed a new paper clipped under a magnet. It was not a bill. It was a printout with blocks of time. I could see one line that said, downtown 11:20 a.m., and another that said, meeting personal. I asked what that was. He said it was his schedule. I asked since when he had a schedule that did not include me. He said since now. I tried to laugh. I asked if he was planning a secret life. He said he was planning to be responsible. His voice stayed calm again, and that calm made me feel like I was the one losing balance. Before I could push harder, he picked up his phone. He looked at the screen and took a quick photo of the fridge paper, like he was saving proof that it existed. He did it without hiding it. Then he put the phone back in his pocket and asked if I was coming to say goodnight to the kids. I said the kids were asleep and I was tired. I walked past him to the bedroom, but my mind stayed in the kitchen, stuck on that spreadsheet, that schedule, and the way he had left the bar without begging. The birthday dinner was supposed to be simple. It was for Patricia, Ethan's mother. She wanted a long table, a family place, and food that came fast. She liked routines, and she liked people who kept their word. I told myself I could handle one evening. I told myself I could play nice for 2 hours and still be myself. We arrived a little late. The parking lot was full, and I blamed Ethan for choosing the time. He said his mother chose it. I said he could have suggested better. He carried Miles in, and Harper held his hand. I walked ahead, because I hated feeling like a second person in my own family. Inside, the restaurant was loud with plates and birthdays, and people talking over each other. The host led us to a long table near the middle. I saw Patricia and Gerald already sitting. Jonah was there too, Ethan's friend from the neighborhood. Kelsey came with my parents. Cass showed up as support, even though no one asked her. Nina came as well because she worked near the place and said she could stop by. Patricia smiled at the kids first. She asked how school was for Harper. Harper said it was fine and she had a spelling test. Patricia asked Miles about his cars. Miles made a noise and leaned into Ethan's shoulder. Then Patricia looked at me and asked how work was. I said it was busy and I was doing everything, like always. Ethan asked if we could just enjoy the night. I said I was enjoying it, and he was the one who always got tense. Gerald asked if I wanted water. I said yes. My father asked if the kids wanted fries. I said they could have a little, but not too much. I acted like the manager of the table because it made me feel safe. Cass sat close to me. She asked, in a voice that was too loud, if Ethan had learned how to show up yet. I told her it was his mother's birthday, and she should relax. Cass said she was just joking. I said joking was fine, and I smiled like I was in control. Patricia started opening gifts. Harper handed her a card, and Patricia said it was sweet. I watched Ethan's face while his mother thanked the kids. He looked calm, but his jaw was tight. I told myself he was always like that. I told myself it was his personality, not my fault. When the waiter came, Ethan asked if we could order for the kids first. I said we should all order at once because it was faster. The waiter asked if we wanted appetizers. I said yes, and I picked them without asking anyone. Ethan asked if we could keep it simple. I said simple was boring and that was the problem. Kelsey leaned toward me and asked if things were okay at home. I said yes, and Ethan was just sensitive lately. Nina looked at me and asked what I meant. I said he took everything personally. Patricia heard the word sensitive, and her smile faded for a second. She asked Ethan if he was okay. He said he was fine, and he wanted her to enjoy her dinner. The table got louder as food arrived. People talked about work and traffic and school. My mother Doreen told a story about a client at her salon. She said men never changed, and women had to teach them. She looked at Ethan when she said it, like she was making a point. I laughed, because I wanted her on my side. Cass started talking about dating apps like it was funny. She asked me if I remembered what it felt like to be wanted at the start. She said marriage made people lazy. She asked me, right in front of everyone, if Ethan still tried. I felt eyes on me, and I liked it. I also felt trapped, and I hated that feeling. Ethan asked Cass to stop. Cass said she was just making conversation. Ethan asked me if we could not talk about private things here. I said nothing was private if it was true. I said people acted like wives should be silent, and I was not that kind of woman. I said I had real needs, and I was tired of acting like they did not matter. Patricia asked me to lower my voice. I said I was not yelling. Gerald cleared his throat and stared at his plate. Jonah looked down at his phone like he wanted to disappear. Nina's face went still, like she was watching a car crash. Cass leaned closer and said, in a half-whisper that still carried, that some men were not man enough to keep a woman satisfied. She asked if that was my situation. The moment hung there, thick and heavy. I could have stopped it. I could have said it was not the time. Instead, I smiled. I said, in a voice meant to sound calm, that yes, some men were not man enough for real needs. I said I had been patient for years. I said I did not marry a roommate. I said I deserved passion, attention, and effort. I did not use graphic words. I did not need to. The message was clear, and everyone heard it. Harper asked why people were talking about man enough. I told her it was adult talk and she should eat her chicken. Miles started to fuss, and Ethan lifted him onto his lap. Ethan's hand stayed gentle. His face did not change much, but his eyes went flat in a way I had never seen. Ethan asked me, quietly, if I meant what I said. I said I meant that I was tired of being ignored. He asked if I wanted to humiliate him in front of his mother. I said he was humiliating himself by being weak. I hated that I said the word weak, but I also felt a rush as soon as it left my mouth. Patricia set down her fork. She asked me if I understood what I was doing. I said I was finally being honest. She asked Ethan if he wanted to step outside. He said no, and he did not want a scene. Doreen told Patricia that women had needs and people should not judge. Patricia said this was not about judgment, and it was about respect. Tyler, my brother, came late and slid into a seat near the end. He asked what he missed. Cass told him I was standing up for myself. Tyler looked at me and asked if I was proud of doing it here. I said I was not going to hide anymore. Tyler said there was a difference between honesty and cruelty. I told him he did not understand marriage. He said he understood dignity. The waiter came back, sensed the tension, and asked if everything was okay. I said yes, and I smiled too wide. Ethan asked for a box for the kids' food. The waiter asked if we were leaving. Ethan said he needed to get the kids home. Patricia asked him to stay. He said he loved her, but he could not stay at that table. Cass made a small laugh and said Ethan was running again. I wanted Ethan to snap. I wanted him to shout, or slam a hand on the table, or say something that made him look guilty. He did not. He wiped Miles's hands with a napkin. He helped Harper put on her little sweater. He stood up and put cash on the table for his part without anyone asking. Ethan asked Harper to say goodnight to her grandparents. Harper did it with a small voice. Ethan told Patricia he was sorry her night got messy. Patricia said it was not his fault. Ethan did not look at me when he said he would call tomorrow about the kids' schedule. I heard the word schedule and felt insulted, like he was talking to me like a coworker. I stood too, ready to follow and keep the fight going. Ethan asked me to stay and finish dinner since it was my idea to come. I said it was not my idea, and he always twisted things. He did not answer. He walked away with the kids, calm and steady, through a room full of strangers. As he passed the front, I saw a woman at another table lift her phone for a second, then lower it. I saw the host watch Ethan's face, like she expected trouble, and then look confused when there was none. I stayed at the long table with my friends and family, but my chest felt hollow. Cass said I did great and I should not apologize. Doreen said Ethan would come back when he calmed down. Nina did not say anything. She just looked at me, like I had stepped over a line that could not be painted back. Under the table, my phone buzzed. I glanced down and saw a message preview from Mason. He said he understood what I needed, and he said I should not settle for less. I stared at the words, then looked up at Patricia's face, and realized the whole room had shifted, and I was still smiling like it was a win. The next week felt like living with a quiet stranger who knew my habits better than I did. Ethan did not yell. He did not beg. He did not accuse me. That was the worst part, because I could not point to anything and say he was cruel. He moved through the house like a person who had already made a decision but did not need to announce it. In the mornings, the kitchen still smelled like coffee, but it did not feel warm. Ethan kept putting 2 mugs on opposite sides of the counter. He packed Harper's lunch the same way, with the fruit cut small and the napkin folded. He helped Miles with his shoes. He asked the kids simple questions and listened to their answers. Then he looked at me, like I was a coworker he had to tolerate. I told myself he was acting calm to punish me. I told myself he wanted me to panic. So I decided I would not panic. I decided I would live my life and let him see he could not scare me. On Tuesday, I went to the gym after work. I said it was for my health, but really it was for air. The gym lobby had bright lights and clean smells, and people did not care about my marriage. I checked in and saw Mason near the smoothie counter. He smiled like it was fate, like the world had placed him there to comfort me. He asked if I was okay after the dinner. I said it was a mess and Ethan had embarrassed me by leaving. Mason said Ethan sounded childish. I said yes, and I leaned into that word because it made me feel right. Mason asked what I wanted. I said I wanted to feel wanted. He said I deserved that. He said I should not shrink my life to fit a man who did not try. I knew what he was doing. I also liked it. I told myself I was only talking. I told myself I was not the kind of woman who cheated. I said to myself that the real problem was Ethan's lack, not my choices. After the gym, I drove to my sister Kelsey's apartment. I did not tell Ethan first. I wanted him to notice and ask where I was. He did not. When I got there, Kelsey opened the door and looked tired before I even spoke. She asked what was happening. I said Ethan was doing his cold routine again and making me look like a villain. Kelsey asked what I said at the dinner. I said it was a joke that Cass pushed too far. Kelsey asked if it sounded like a joke to the kids. I said kids did not understand, and Ethan should have handled it better. Kelsey asked if I was seeing someone. I laughed and said she was being dramatic. She asked again, softer. I said I had a friend who listened, and that was not a crime. Kelsey said the word friend did not sound honest. I told her she was judging me like everyone else. I said Ethan's family had poisoned her against me. Kelsey shook her head and said she was thinking about Harper and Miles. I told her I was thinking about them too, which was not fully true, but it sounded good. My mother Doreen called while I was there. She asked how I was holding up. I said Ethan was trying to make me feel small. Doreen said men always did that when they felt weak. She said I should stop chasing him and start living. She told me not to apologize, because apology makes a man think he is right. I felt comforted by her words because they matched my anger. My father Frank texted a short message and asked if the kids were okay. He did not mention Ethan or the dinner. That made me mad, because silence felt like betrayal. I told myself he was choosing Ethan's side by not cheering for me. When I got home, the house was quiet again. The guest bed looked slightly disturbed, like someone had slept there and then smoothed the blanket with a flat hand. I stood in the doorway and felt a sting in my chest. I told myself he was doing it to shame me. I told myself I did not care. Then I walked away too fast, because I did care. Ethan was in the living room with the kids. He asked if I wanted to read Harper a story. I said I was tired. Harper looked at me with a serious face and asked if Dad was mad. I said Dad was just stressed, and he liked to act hurt. Harper asked why people laughed at dinner. I said adults were being silly. She nodded, but she did not look convinced. Later, I walked into the hallway and saw Ethan near the desk again. I heard a soft beep, like a phone starting something. He put his phone face down quickly. I told myself he was recording me. I told myself it was unfair. I also told myself it was proof he was the villain, because good husbands did not need proof. I asked what the beep was. He said his phone had an alert. I asked if he was recording. He said he did not want to fight, and he wanted things clear. I asked what clear meant. He said it meant no confusion later. His voice was calm, and that calm made me feel like I was the one acting wild. I went to the desk when he left the room. I did not open drawers, but I looked. Under a taxes folder, I saw the edge of a small USB. It had a date written on it in black marker. My fingers hovered, but I did not touch it. A locked drawer clicked somewhere, and I stepped back like I had done nothing. That night I messaged Mason. I told him Ethan was being cold and acting like a stranger in the same house. Mason said I deserved warmth. He said he could make me feel safe. I stared at the screen and felt my heart beat fast, not with love, but with the thrill of being wanted. In the kitchen, Ethan washed a pan that was already clean. I walked in and said we needed to talk. He asked what I wanted to say. I said he was making the house tense on purpose. He said he was keeping things calm for the kids. I said the kids were tense because he was distant. He said the kids needed stability. I said he was using the kids as an excuse to punish me. He did not argue. He just nodded like he had heard it before. I went to bed feeling like I had to win something soon. I told myself Ethan would come back to normal if I pushed hard enough. I told myself he was trying to scare me with silence and little secrets. But when I closed my eyes, all I could see was that USB with a date on it, like a clock counting down in my own house. I woke up on Saturday with a plan. I told myself it was a good plan. I said Ethan could not keep acting like a ghost in our home. I said if he wanted to be cold, then I would force him to show his real face. I wanted a loud moment. I wanted a scene that proved he was the bad one. I wanted something I could repeat to my mother, to Cass, to anyone who would listen. Ethan was already up. He had the kids in the living room with cartoons low and blankets on their legs. He had a list on the counter for groceries. He asked if I could come with him to the store. I said yes, like I was doing him a favor. He asked if we could keep it calm for the kids. I said I was calm, and he was the one acting strange. At the supermarket, the lights were too bright, and the aisles felt too narrow. Miles sat in the cart seat and kicked his feet. Harper walked close to Ethan, not to me. That small thing made me angry, even though it was not Harper's fault. I told myself Ethan had turned them against me. Ethan picked fruit and checked it like he was choosing for a stranger. He put cereal in the cart without asking. He grabbed Harper's favorite yogurt. He remembered the brand. I hated that he could be steady like that while being distant to me. I started poking at him with words, the way I always did when I felt out of control. I asked why he was acting like a saint in public. He said he was just shopping. I asked why he would not look at me. He said he was watching Miles. I asked if he was enjoying making me feel invisible. He said he did not want to fight in the store. I pushed harder. I said he was trying to punish me with silence. I said he wanted people to think he was the good one. I said he was playing a role. Ethan asked me to lower my voice. I said I was not loud and he was being dramatic. Harper looked up at me with a tight face, like she was bracing for something. That made me even more irritated because it meant my child expected me to be the storm. Near the dairy section, Ethan's phone buzzed. He did not grab it fast like a guilty person. He looked at it, then put it back in his pocket. I asked who it was. He said it was nothing I needed to worry about. I said married people do not have nothing messages. He said he was not discussing it in the store. His voice stayed calm. That calm felt like a wall. At the checkout, the line moved slowly. A woman behind us smiled at Miles. Ethan smiled back, polite. I watched him do it and felt heat in my chest. He could be kind to strangers, but not warm to me. I told myself that proved my point. I said, right there, that he was acting like a perfect dad for the crowd. Ethan asked me what I wanted. I said I wanted a real husband, not a quiet robot. Ethan said the kids were right there. I said the kids already knew he was cold. Harper's shoulders went stiff. Ethan's jaw tightened for a second, then softened again. He asked Harper if she wanted to pick a snack for later. Harper nodded fast, like she was grateful for an escape. The cashier scanned items. I leaned toward Ethan and said he was controlling money now too, acting like the bills were his. Ethan said we were buying groceries for the kids. I said he would probably hide cash next. Ethan looked at me and said he had never hidden money from the family. I said he was hiding things now anyway. Ethan did not deny it. He just breathed out slowly. Outside, the cold air hit my face and I felt shaky. I did not want to admit I was losing. I wanted him to chase me, to argue, to beg me to stop. Instead, he loaded bags into the trunk and buckled Miles in with the same careful hands. He asked me to buckle Harper. I did it, but Harper did not look at me. On the drive home, I tried another angle. I asked if he was talking to his mother about me. He said he was focused on the kids. I asked if he had told people I was cruel. He said he was not doing a public war. I asked if he was trying to take the kids from me. He said he was not making threats. That word, threats, made my stomach drop. At home, I carried bags into the kitchen and slammed one, a little too hard, on the counter. Ethan asked me not to slam things. I said I did not slam anything, and he imagined it. He did not argue. He just put a box of pasta in the pantry and closed the door softly. I followed him down the hallway toward the guest room. The door was half closed. I hated that door. It felt like a sign in my face. I asked if he was really sleeping in there. He said yes, for now. I asked if he was trying to shame me. He said he was trying to keep peace. I said peace was just another word for punishment. He said he was not punishing me. I started listing everything I had done for this family. I said I managed school forms. I managed doctor visits. I managed holidays. I managed his mother's birthday gifts. Ethan asked if I wanted a medal. I said I wanted respect. He said respect was not something you get by tearing someone down in public. I told him I had only told the truth. He asked if truth had to be cruel. I said he was calling me cruel to avoid admitting he failed. Harper walked into the hallway and asked if we were going to the park. Ethan said yes, later. Harper asked if we could all go together. I felt my throat tighten. Ethan paused, then said we would see. Harper looked at me and asked if Dad was leaving. I told her Dad was being dramatic and he would stop soon. Ethan asked me not to say that to her. I said I was her mother and I could say what I wanted. Ethan said Harper did not need adult labels. He said she needed clear plans. He said if we could not be calm, then we should talk when the kids were not listening. I said he always wanted to hide behind rules. He said rules kept children safe. He walked away into the kitchen. I followed. I saw his laptop open on the table for a second. There were tabs up and I caught a glimpse of words like storage options, delivery tracking, and notary near me. He clicked the screen dark when he noticed me. I asked what he was looking at. He said he was handling personal tasks. I asked if he was planning something against me. He said he was planning to protect the kids from chaos. That sentence made me feel exposed, like he had seen through my whole act. I tried to laugh and said I was not chaos. Ethan did not smile. He reached into a drawer and took out a sticky note that said, "Bring forms." He put it back and closed the drawer with a soft final click. That night, after the kids slept, I tried one last time to force a fight. I stood in the hallway and said he was ruining our marriage over one joke. I said he was weak for not forgiving. I said he would regret it when he was alone. Ethan stepped out of the guest room and faced me. His face looked calm, but not empty. It looked decided. He asked me to stop calling him weak. I said I would stop when he acted like a husband. He asked what I wanted him to do. I said I wanted him to fight for me. Ethan shook his head once. He said he would not fight like that. He said he would not scream, he would not beg, and he would not play games. Then he said, in a voice so steady it scared me, that he was going to handle it properly. My Monday started like any other, but the air felt different. Ethan did not speak much at breakfast. He cut Harper's toast into squares and poured Miles's milk like it was a careful job. He asked the kids about school. They answered. He did not ask me where I was going after work. That scared me more than yelling. At the dental clinic, I kept checking my phone like it was a pulse. Cass sent messages about the dinner again. She said I should post something empowering. She said if Ethan wanted to act hurt, then I should show I was fine. I told her I was fine. I told myself I was fine too. When it was time for school pickup, I drove there on purpose. I wanted to be seen. I wanted other parents to see me as normal. I wanted the story to stay in my hands. The pickup line was slow and tight, cars close together, windows half open, parents watching one another. I saw Ethan's car ahead of mine, which felt like a small insult. He was not supposed to be ahead of me. He was supposed to wait for me, like he used to. He got out of his car and walked toward the sidewalk. He did not look at me. He stood near the office door, hands at his sides, calm like he was waiting for a bus. Patricia was there too, not making a scene, just standing a few steps behind him. That made my chest burn. I told myself it was unfair for her to show up like that. A woman in a plain coat walked toward Ethan and spoke to him. He nodded once. Then she turned and walked toward me. She came to my driver window and asked if I was Roxana Merivale. I said yes and asked who she was. She said she was there to deliver documents, and she needed to confirm my name. I asked what documents. She said I would see when I accepted them. I felt heat rise in my face. I looked around and saw other parents glance over. I saw a school staff member pause near the door. I saw Nina's car 2 spots away, and I hated that she was there to watch. I wanted to scream that Ethan was doing this to punish me. Instead, I forced my voice to stay steady. I told the woman she should not do this here. She said she had instructions and this was a public place. She said she was not allowed to argue. She asked me to take the envelope. Ethan stayed still. He did not smile. He did not look proud. He looked like a person closing a file. I grabbed the envelope like it was dirty. I said Ethan was overreacting to one joke. Patricia's face did not change. Ethan finally looked at me and asked me to keep my voice low because Harper would hear. I said Harper was not even here yet. He said she would be in a minute. The woman told me I could read it later, but service was complete. She said the papers included a divorce filing and temporary orders. The words temporary orders hit me like cold water. I opened the envelope right there because I could not stand the not knowing. I told myself I needed to see what lie he was telling about me. My hands shook as I pulled out the first page. I saw my name and Ethan's name. I saw dates. I saw lines that looked like rules. Ethan walked closer, still keeping space. He said he was not here to fight. He said he was doing this properly. He said the plan was about stability for the kids and stopping public humiliation. He said everything would be handled through the process. I said he was trying to control me with papers. He said it was the opposite, and it was clarity. I said he could not tell me when to see my own children. He said the temporary schedule started today, and we both had to follow it. Patricia spoke once. She said the children deserved peace and a routine. Her voice was quiet, not mean.